Hello, everybody. My name is Frigid Hyperion. Welcome back to the Wilds of Wildemount campaign. Today, we will be going forward in session on the stream. It says 34, session 33. With us today, we have Dawn playing as Soren, Lily is playing as Windchime, Quinn is playing as Animo, Kale is playing as Brine, I'm playing as Moonzik, and Emily is our lovely dungeon master. And giving us our recap, playing as Edward, is Rocky. Take it away, friend.
So, last time on Wild of Wildemount, we were caught barging into a room by a very, very evil-looking wizard who, stopped our awkward looting spree of our heist with, his immediate attention. He inquired as to what we were doing in the estate, until we blatantly admitted that we were definitely robbing the estate, and that we were to do so, and that we were to threaten him uh, of either letting us pass the door or, and murdering him, as we typically do for a party of bloodthirsty adventurers. Anyway, he refused because he admitted that he was under some form of mystical gauge or an oath to not allow us to pass the door, and so we entered combat. It He immediately locked the door behind magical bars, and with some quick thinking of Brine, she teleported behind the whole magical bars that was erected behind the room. She fidgeted around with the buttons until she pressed something that caused the man to pass out. Now, what happened next was Soren was suddenly possessed by the man, as we found ourselves facing against Soren, of that not bearing his own consciousness. After a wild battle involving him floating around it as if he was in space, an elephant for some reason, a giant robot, and a giant moonbeam. We're not really sure what happened in that combat. It was really weird and confusing. But anyway, after that entire ordeal, we were able to eject the spirit out of Soren and plunder our bounty, which was a giant room hidden in the back, filled with all of the Sovia family's estates, greatest treasures, and monetary wealth. As we were planning our escape, the party thought of an idea to plant the rose onto the room of the Sovia family estate, in which um, it opened up a portal all the way back to the sealed room in Firewatch Island behind the basement. We're not really sure why or how, but it did. And so um, it was after that that the party decided that at least one person still had to escape as the person planting the rose. We decided that it would be Soren and Moonzik who would make the daring escape. And we did so by setting the giant robot to go on a massive rampage throughout the manor while the rest of the party escaped under the cover of the chaos. And that leaves us to right now, after we had freshly leveled up.
I just want to say, I don't think of us as bloodthirsty adventurers.
Definitely bloodthirsty adventurers. You might not thirst for blood, but I might as well be a vampire.
I'm hungry for justice.
Oh my
Listen,
god, could you
the rawer
be...
the meat, the better. Wait.
I am here.
Oh my god, you're so
Moonzik,
lame.
Moonzik and Soren rushed into Moonzik's home, half size in stature. Sitting there, it was Thorian, waiting patiently for everybody's return. Immediately screaming and yelling in their high-pitched voices, planting planting the rose in a pot in the corner when a portal opened back up, connecting you to your home base on Firewatch Island. This is where we are going to pick up. What's happening? Thorian says.
I'm biting on a piece of gold.
You were in a portal in Firewatch Island.
Hold on, you just gotta
I'm
give this
gonna-
thing a moment to bloom. Soren, you go in and let them know that they're okay to come out.
All right.
Brian hasn't waited, and as soon as the portal opens, she's gonna go through because the door opened. Hi guys.
I guess I'll follow through too.
Windchime wanted to take a quick peek in her bedroom before she left Firewatch Island,
Yeah.
but she's rushing.
You possibly for in that time frame while they were running back to the house, did any of you go to explore the rest of Firewatch and maybe talk to some of the residents that are there?
Yeah. Is there anybody there right now, hanging out?
Absolutely there is. Let me just get you guys to the right page.
Oh my god, the sheep's still there.
Oh my god, that's not Moonzik's token.
Been a while, friends.
It's been
Man,
Uh,
this is the island. Remember back when we were still on the island?
Wow.
That-
I thought
holy
it was
shit.
those guys.
So you guys make your way up from the cellar. Windchime, you're leading the charge.
Yep.
So you make your way out into the familiar presence of Firewatch Island. You smell baking bread and pecans. There's something sweet and sticky in the air. And the entire place seems awfully quiet.
Yeah? Is there like bread in the oven? I'm gonna check the oven.
Yeah, you go and look at the stove, and there does appear to be some sort of sweet bread baking.
Okay. Is it still cooking or it's not burning, is it?
No, it's not burning. It's just baking.
Okay.
Not quite ready yet.
She's gonna call out, hello? Anybody home?
Hello? Who is it? Oh my god! Oh, welcome back. You guys haven't written say you were coming. You see, she is like kind of like adjusting. Janor is kind of just adjusting herself, kind of startled and taken aback by your presence.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, we
Welcome.
didn't know that we were coming either. It's a long story. I'll tell you that.
Completely unplanned.
Oh,
Honestly, it's
the rest of the-
as much a surprise to us as it is to you.
really?
I just wanted to double check that this is before they
Correct.
This is okay. So I
They
can
had
put
to
down my
run
token.
all the way through the city, so.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. Is the rest of the crew here? They stopped by just a few weeks ago.
Yet.
They stopped by. How did they all seem?
Pretty good. You guys haven't seen them?
Oh no, we
Uh,
left them a while ago.
We split up a little bit ago.
Yeah, I
Got
mean,
here by an
I know you guys
alternate
split
means.
up, but how'd you
We
guys get here?
Magic. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. We just like went through a hole.
I mean, well,
It was just a
we were
portal.
given a rose by a particularly interesting individual, and apparently planting it somewhere, opened up a portal down to the sealed room in the basement.
That's right. You guys wouldn't happen to know anything about a gold dragonborn snooping around here?
Gold Dragonborn? Um, I don't believe so.
All right, just checking.
Yeah, we should probably get that checked out to see if it's like specifically to our basement or if it's to like where you think is your home.
Ooh. But
That's an interesting thought.
I mean, I guess only Soren could could plant it, and it would be different, right?
Oh, maybe.
Hmm.
Well, we'll look into that either way. Anyway, thank you for letting me know that my suspicions are unfounded.
Well, I wouldn't go quite that far. Just because we haven't seen the Gold Dragonborn. I mean, he got very... like, who would even let him go down there? I doubt that he would want to have been seen.
True. Anyway, sorry if we're being confusing. We probably don't have too much time.
Yeah, totally. I'm just happy to see you guys back. You all look safe and pretty good.
Thank you.
I'm just imagining you like tossing your hair as you said that.
I mean, the state of
Exposing
our
the
safety
abs.
is in question right now, but we'll be back again if. I mean,
We'll be back
we're
again.
in the middle of working out something, so I don't think we'll be staying here for long.
But if this keeps working, the good news is we should be able to come back and check in, make sure everything's okay. Has everything been all right here?
And we've been working a lot on some improvements and expanding the garden, and just generally doing menial labor. I'm not gonna lie. I've been researching a lot though. All the books that have been kept here. Actually, finally having some time to look through and see more about Procan. It's fascinating what they have written here.
That's great.
It's really good.
Currently, Barrett's been like enjoying himself working on brewing lately. He's kind of gotten into it.
Any help from
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's been stopping by, a few times a week, sometimes more often, depending on what company he needs, and it's mostly him and Barrett have been just nonstop talking about their love of fermented things.
Their love. I mean, what?
well,
Oh, I can't.
that's good.
Oh, I'm sure that Bellwether will be so happy to see you guys. We should go over to him. We did buy a bit of like a rowboat to help us get back and forth when we so desired.
That's a...
No.
Still a long
That's a
journey.
good
I feel like I've really built my muscles though. She flexes.
Ooh.
Is there anything you guys need in order to continue the hard work you've been doing? Any supplies? Any money for
mean-
repairs?
You see her eyes kind of flit up at money. She's like, well, yeah, money is the hardest issue. There's only so much we can do with, TLC. I think, but not that I ever want to oppose you guys just having us here and helping us.
Brian has a wicked grin on her face.
But yeah, I mean, we're doing what we can.
You know what? I think it might be easier just to show you. Come with me.
Oh, yeah,
Really
of
gonna
course.
just show her the dragon sword we've got down in the basement, huh?
A dragon? Did you guys fight a dragon?
Eh, close
No,
enough.
not really.
Close enough, Edward.
Probably, you know, we're probably at the same level. I don't know. Never fought a dragon before.
And
Take it back to the basement.
yep.
You guys go back into the basement and see the massive piles of gold and gems, and her mouth just opens in shock, like, wow, that is, wow, oh my Procan, oh, that's a lot. What?
Right? So we can't use all of it. But most of it, the gems especially, I think might help with some of the financial issues.
Yeah, I would say so. I've never seen that much money in my entire life. Is this real? She picks up like a ruby and like looks at it.
To be honest, I have no idea. I did not check.
It's really
This is-
hard
this is
strawberry
weird.
jelly.
It's made out
So,
of.
wait, how did I not notice you guys come here in through here with all of this?
I mean, we
Um,
didn't take the front entrance. There was a portal, remember?
This big door? Turns out it's a portal entrance.
It's up right now.
The door is closed, but
Oh, the door. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have wondered why it never opened. I can't deny I've tried it more than a few times. Yeah. Okay. And it's in this moment that the door swings open.
given the context, I'm not going to jump through immediately.
I think that means it's time for us to go through if the door's open.
Probably.
Sorry.
You're leaving already?
Well, we can't all go through the portal. That's the issue. And well, we can't exactly leave our friends behind in dangerous territory, right?
Yeah, completely makes sense.
But we'll come back around. You let us know if you have any issues. We'll let you know. And yeah, we'll be checking in.
Lily, what did you want to do?
Oh, she just wanted to like see the place, you know.
Yeah, of course. Sorry, got distracted. Yeah, you make your way back through the aforementioned Firewatch Island as you're kind of wandering. And everything looks similar to what it did before. You can see they have done a bit of improvement on certain levels. Things are fairly organized. It looks like Janora has been hard at work at researching something.
Are those
The place looks clean and tidy.
beds on the roof? What the hell is that?
Yeah, it all transferred for some reason.
I'm gonna turn to Janelle and I'm gonna ask,
Oh
My-
shit! She just moved the whole freaking castle. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Look, this was my first attempt at using freaking. I need to update it. I just haven't updated it yet. I mean, look how big this bed is. This bed is like very large,
Hell
very
yeah.
comfy. It's like almost a
just-
15-foot long bed.
Fuck yeah.
It's just good enough.
A,
Just good
a
enough.
Marquesian king.
Exactly.
or a Goliath commoner.
Touche.
which room did you say was yours, Windchime?
I honestly don't remember.
Well, don't worry, because if you haven't, we will have time to establish rooms and all of that. So, and we can always discuss that a little bit later too.
Mm.
But for now, the entire place looks spick and span, about as good as it can be, given the TLC. You look out, and the garden is much more expansive than what it describes here. Look, I didn't have time to do this, and I've kind of forgot that was something I should have done today.
It's okay.
But yeah, things are feeling great.
That's
You
good.
think you could turn the spire on the west side of the island, on the west side of this estate into some sort of alchemy lab or something?
Edward, I feel like this is not the time. But keep your thoughts, jot them down.
Fair enough.
I feel like that's the kind of thing that happens after we finish the tender love and care Janor was talking about. We still have holes in our roof. Well, patched holes, but holes nonetheless.
Evan,
So
why
you're
don't
saying
we
we get a new roof?
Yeah, we're gonna get a new roof. Don't you worry, Edward.
But yeah, we will discuss that mini game
Mini
in a
game.
bit. Kind of a mini game.
Does it involve
Listen.
mashing the A button?
Yep.
Perfect.
All that being said, the door to the cellar swings open, and you see empty black abyss on the other side.
Oh, the scariest part. Who's gonna go first?
Through the portal, or I got confused.
That's what I am assuming.
I suppose I should go through, and I'm going to step through the portal.
Vance, you see on the other side of the portal the cracked dark lines across the whole thing, and you just kind of manifest inside of Moonzig's house tiny little versions of Moonzik and Soren are there, along with a very confused full-size version of Thorian.
And an indifferent Nahiri.
Yeah, and
The
Nahiri is
version of Moonzik, you said?
Nahiri's used to it.
I mean, good to be back. What's going on here? Why are you so small?
Didn't you cast Reduce? This was your plan.
I mean, I dropped concentration on that a long time ago.
What? How are they still small?
Suddenly! Suddenly they appear full size!
I mean, the duration on it is only 1 minute. I'm sure we've spent way more than a minute across the temple.
Well, I'm sure that if all goes well, then we'll just go back to our regular sizes at any moment now. Hey, look at that!
What the hell was
it
that?
happened right as I mentioned why it's happening.
That's crazy.
Man.
I'm sure that's not what
Weird concentration to meet, to get all the way back here. It took a long time.
Apparently, Edward was just worried about it the entire time, and somehow, it just turned into super concentration.
Oh, Edward, were you stressed?
I mean, a little. We kind of, robbed the most powerful men in this city's estate full of all of their wealth. I'm sure he's hoping to let us get off for free.
Speaking of that, Munduk, the hell are we doing?
We need to get our supplies together and then also, like, be ready to get out of town. You have those. We have the notebooks and the ledgers and everything, right? And those letters.
Yeah?
We're going to tie them together and we're going to take them to the. We're going to take them to the Clovis Concord office. We're going to wake whoever's inside up, and make sure they pick it up.
Do you think the Clovis Concord has enough jurisdiction here in order to oversee, the bringing of justice to the Sylvia family?
They're basically the governing body of the entire Menagerie Coast. I would imagine they would.
Okay.
And we're
We should probably head
sure,
to
and we're sure that will actually do anything.
I can't guarantee it, but I think it's our best. It's our best case scenario. It's our best option. To ensure that and to give context, I'm writing a letter right now, explaining to whoever picks it up what's going on.
Should we find like a dark room or a cellar in order to decode and decrypt whatever was written behind the illusory script?
That will be their job. Oh, that's right. You're going to see him
I
like
mean,
wrinkle
I
up
feel
a
like
piece
it
of
might be a
paper.
risk surrendering it to them without actually having, knowledge of what's written in the books first, just in case we, relinquish this without knowing the full scale of what they're doing before, they do. I think it'd be on the safe side just to be able to know what was in those journals before we hand them over.
I mean, the letters would...
Terrifying thought. We should probably read through them at least once. Just in case, I don't know, whoever we hand these off to is in on it.
Probably. Probably not a bad idea. I know it will take some time, but better safe than sorry.
Yeah. Also, we should probably do that reading on Firewatch Island.
I think so too. Somewhere with at least a degree of security away from everyone in this city. I think there's no safer place to do so.
So then maybe we wait until we deliver the evidence until either Port Zune or maybe even Nicodranas.
Couldn't that cause a war between the cities? From what I remember, it's more like a loose federation, each one self-governing to a certain extent. If one city gets involved, couldn't that bring war to your hometown? I mean, it's the most surefire way that justice will actually be served. But...
Again, it wouldn't be to another town's mayoral body. It would be more toward for the Clovis Concord. That's, again, like, it's the whole overarching government versus multiple city governments.
So just for clarification, because I see that there is a little bit of confusion here. So the way the Menagerie Coast operates, it's a bunch of city-states that have formed together into a sort of federation, and there is not a singular necessarily like governing body. It's more all of them actively cooperating with each other, so that there can be a bit more cohesion across the entire coast. They have very similar ideals, similar whatnots. They meet together. It's called the Concord, as it is a group of people who have all made an agreement together, and they all work well. I mean, there's a little bit of tension always because they're different cities, but they do act more as city states than think of it as like the UN.
Right.
So like you can bring it to like, the major government, but they're independent.
Well, in any case, if you'd like, I can take those journals and I can go into the retreats of Firewatch Island and see, what information is being kept up in there. I think the sooner we do it, the better, because it doesn't give the Sylvia family an opportunity to catch their footing after this entire incident.
I agree.
As do I, but do we leave now then, or do we wait until he's finished?
I mean, I suppose I can stay on the island. You can plant the rose once you get into the retreats of safety, and then I can emerge from the portal there when it is safe for me to come out with that information to do so.
That
That
sounds like we might be bunking down as fugitives for a little bit.
I suppose so. Well, we've got plenty of stores of food here, at least. If not here, then at least on Firewatch Island.
Anything you need from Firewatch Island right now before you begin your trek into safety?
Maybe some more cheese, if you're able to, but otherwise don't worry about it.
I'll see if I can get into contact with Bellwether, see if he can arrange.
I think he'd also like the stories.
Absolutely.
And to meet Soren.
Well, we should probably still be prudent about what we tell him. All of what we've been doing for the past couple days or so is very sensitive information.
Obviously.
But I'll see if we can get I'll see if we can get Bellwether enticed with some stories, maybe some money too, because I do feel bad for taking advantage of him if it's just stories alone that we're exchanging.
Good point.
Well, sounds reasonable.
Brian, you really want him to work for free, don't you?
That was not what I was saying. Don't
I mean,
put words
listen.
in my
I
mouth.
understand your perspective. It's just, it's just not morally correct. I mean, I get it. No, it's totally fine. You can think like that. I mean, it's just depending
You're
on what
putting words in my mouth. I would never do that.
Well, I mean, like, it's okay.
I mean,
we're allowed
listen.
to-
I understand one less expense, right? No, I get it.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that workers deserve to be paid a fair wage, but we're allowed to have differing opinions, I suppose, even if it's
Fucking peasants.
All right. Well, in any case, I think the gold that we have in our bags of holding should also be on Firewatch Island.
anything that could possibly be traced should be on Firewatch Island.
And in the case that they somehow get into the house here, we don't want to be interrogated and somehow, have
I
them.
also feel like there shouldn't be more than two of us here at any given time.
I mean, naturally, I could stay here with Dardek.
Me, fuck.
Well, you, Dardak, and one other person wouldn't really cause that much of a stir. It's a couple lowlifes in a low-life building, right? Certainly not the kind of troop that could pull off such a heist, but a full advancing troop of considerable power.
And Nemo looks around. Is this really low life?
Well, I mean, from logical deduction, I think we can conclude that the entire heist must have been pulled off with more than one person, given that our adversary alone was a person capable of possessing another body. If there was one person alone and they would be possessed, that would be the entire heist foiled. So, obviously, the suspicion would most definitely fall upon people with at least considerable associates that were trustworthy enough to pull off a heist like that.
Exactly. So.
Thorian steps forward, and he says to the lot of you, he kind of maybe like places a hand on Brian's shoulder and says, I have to ask. I'm trying to follow everything that you guys are saying. Everything went well. I hate to ask it, but did you I'll have to kill. You see, he's got a steely look in his eyes.
To be honest,
Is it bad to say that I don't remember?
um,
Oh, one person died, and
I'm
he
not
was
even sure he's dead. To be honest,
I don't
Um,
think we killed anybody.
his soul wasn't in his body when his body died.
Well, then his maybe his
did we check?
I-
All right. The point is, I'm not really sure. There was a Haywire Golem, which I lost contact with rather quickly. So I think it didn't manage to kill anybody, or at least I very much hope not. I just told it to cause chaos. I didn't tell it to kill anybody.
There was an
You
element
told it to
too.
kill everybody?
I said I told it to cause chaos. I didn't. Didn't. Did not. Look, the guard should be fine. There's only one question of
Thorian? I mean, I'm pretty sure Thorian would be the bearer of information such as that.
the only
I kind of assumed that I wasn't going back.
Dorian's right here. Edward. Yeah, no. I wasn't we weren't intending on you going back.
Just some of those men are good. They're good people with families and
Some of them will probably be hurt. I told the golem to cause chaos, but I did not give it specific instructions beyond that. I know that there was a wizard, fae, possibly, in the basement, who had the ability to possess people. And I don't know if he's dead or not because he seems to be able to move his soul around, which doesn't really tell me whether he's dead or alive because, you know, his body really isn't what we were worried about.
If he was alive and he truly wanted to, he could have possessed any number of us after Soren.
I think Thorian was more
Or if he
concerned
lost.
about the individuals surrounding the sentry posts scattered throughout the manor.
In which case, they're likely
than-
hurt, but not badly. And those that. All I'd be concerned about is any recompense the Sovia's family decided to do upon their guards for failure.
I think the question is how many people were lost in that entire incident?
How many? There shouldn't be any.
I can confirm.
Perhaps
It's
one.
as soon as the gods saw the guardian, they started running away. I saw the guardian
I think
strike the
Thorian
wall.
would be the only person that has any semblance of trustworthy information as to the full extent of our actions. I'm asking him.
I genuinely don't know what happened. I can't know what happened
Okay,
because I can't go back.
No?
Edward, I'm having trouble understanding why you don't get that.
Well, I think what's done is done, and I do think that some of our actions are, well, I mean, I think we've made some. I think we caused a lot of collateral damage that might have been unwarranted and undeserved by many individuals that fell victim to our actions.
What did we do? We sent one person to sleep by suggesting he go to sleep. We sent one person. We put one person to sleep by force. Who the fuck did we kill?
Hold on. Even if we didn't kill anybody, he's not necessarily wrong. I mean, there is going to be guards that are out of a job, you know? Like, they're definitely not getting rehired after that. We just kind of waltzed in, did whatever we want.
I'm still fair. I think there's some. I mean,
There's a possibility, like,
I think there's a strong
it's not that there weren't
possibility
dead
that
bodies.
it perished through the attacks of the giant shield guardian.
We don't know what happened after we left from that. It's
I
absolutely
very
true,
much hope not. It was not.
but it's very possible.
It was not intended to cause any harm. It should have just caused chaos.
Well,
Chaos does not require harm.
yeah, but you'd never specified so, and chaos and harm still aren't mutually exclusive from each other.
That's
Here's what
true.
I'll say, Edward. I think that we know to look back on our actions. And I'm not going to say that we were perfect. Of course we weren't. But I think that we did a good job of being less murderous than we have been in the past. So let's.
Who have we killed?
What are you talking about? Who have we killed?
Who have we killed?
Was Brian there for that?
Animo, Brian was
Three
not here for when we
earrings.
killed
Oh,
Captain
she
Three
wasn't.
Earrings.
I was not here for that.
Brian was not here for that.
She was not.
Brian. I think that we should talk about this some other time.
We killed somebody? Was I there?
No, you didn't. You didn't kill anybody.
Oh.
It
Can we
was.
move on?
There was.
Yeah.
There was a dark history between us and our relationship with the crew on the Wave Chaser.
Please, music.
We're not going to talk about it now. I'm just going to give that.
I can move off that. I'm sorry. That's got to be very hard to be forced into that kind of decision.
We'll be okay. We'll talk about it later, but definitely we need to move. I'm sure there's going to be people roaming the streets, inquiring people about what they know about tonight.
And a certain criminal organization that has just lost a benefactor that they will not be happy to have lost.
Absolutely not.
Well, where are we moving next, folks?
We'll hand in the documents at Port Damali.
Port Damali.
Is that the
That's the opposite
or
direction we're going.
at Nicodranas?
Port Zun or Nicodranas, whichever one we want to try. Port Zun would be
Alright,
first.
should I take my retreat into safety
Let's-
on Firewatch Island?
If you wish to read them now, that might be. Let's keep you around while we exit the city. If
Okay.
something goes wrong, I want you around.
Okay, that does sound fair.
So we are exiting the city.
Yes.
All right.
Although we might want to drop off some of that gold that we promised.
Some of it. I was planning on dropping off all of it at the Hand of the Everlight.
I do think
yes.
that I do think that this misappropriated gold is better spent in the hands of those who need it rather than.
I
the
fully agree. I only think that there might be somewhat of a symptom of, yes, I have lost 3,000 gold. Where? Oh yes, we received an anonymous donation of that exact amount. Might be a little insane.
So, I mean, we
He
still
makes
have
a good point.
we still have plenty
You do
of
make a good
gold.
point.
We still have plenty of gold within, well, maybe one of the bags of holding then.
Enough to be a massive donation, but not enough to make it seem like it was stolen immediately from there.
2,999.
Let's do it, and then what all we have
In amount
left?
of 300.
What all we have left within the other bag of holding, we'll count up and we'll split amongst ourselves.
or
Okay.
donate later.
Or
Either
donates
way.
or donates later. But for now,
Just split it in half.
split it in. Yeah.
Split it in half and do 2 donations, even if it's from the same day. Make one from.
And the fact of
Or
the matter is that we're getting out of Feolinn first.
yes.
We are leaving Feolinn, and on our way out of Feolinn, we are dropping off the donation to the Head of the Everlight. We'll do another donation at some
Exactly.
point, probably in Nickel Jonas, but we'll discuss that when it comes time. We need to do this now.
Yes.
Okay,
Agreed.
everybody ready?
Is my answer satisfactory to you, Dorian? I did the best I could.
You see, like you in all of the conversation, you barely notice when his hand had kind of left your shoulder, and he kind of has just kind of wandered back and sat down. You're not sure.
Fucking done.
It's a lot to take in.
I'm gonna go over to him and be like, "Hey, I am sorry. We knew there was not going to be no harm involved from the beginning, but we tried to cause the least harm we could. And hopefully this will all be for the best of the city, right?"
He gives you a nod and just gives you a nod. It looks like you've got business to attend to, donations to make and all.
Yeah. Bag of holding full of gold. So 500 pounds worth of gold. How much of the total amount of gold is that?
How much is one coin of...
Yeah, if you give me
That's one bag of holding.
weighs. How much does a gold coin weigh, Emily?
Well, technically,
or rather... Yeah.
If you said it was just like 100, so basically, it's a ridiculous amount of money. I was hoping that you guys would kind of just, we can decide a little bit later, but basically, technically, it's like 384,000 gold coins.
384,000. Ooh.
Gold coins are dope.
Okay. Real
But,
talk.
so,
As I'm going over this, any amount over 120,000 gold would be suspicious.
I just like that is when we're talking about like bags full 500 pounds exactly. Those are the numbers we're talking about. That's not how much money they have, right? We are kind of playing a bit of theater of the mind. In total, they have 100,000 gold, right?
All right.
The anticipation was that the majority of that would go to donation, and then we can discuss how much you guys are willing to keep of that as its own problem, right? Do you see what I'm saying?
I get you.
That's the problem. Like, how much are we willing to have for ourselves? We can be greedy and live with that, or how much are we going to give? You understand? That was the social issue that you guys are encountering, right? So I know that we're talking about bags and bags of gold and bags of all of this. It is a slight exaggeration for the sake of story.
Right.
I mean, if we want to talk about it in a moral aspect of how much we're entitled to keep, I do think that we're not entitled to keep the misappropriated gold here in any capacity. Thinking about it ahead, I know there was a redirected issue of suspicion being routed towards large sums of donation that roughly divided up until how much money that was stolen from the Soviet estate. Might I make a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
We know there have been some sort of tensions brewing, with the possible prospect of war. Would it be less suspicious so that we would use this money in sort of efforts in order to aid? I mean, if war ever decides to break out, would it be less suspicious if we decided to use this effort in order to aid any collateral or casualties um, of this war, especially for civilians that might have been affected by it?
Well, the head of the Everlight engages in humanitarian things, right? We're donating it to the right source. What I think the bigger question is how much do we save now? How much do we give out now? I think 80-20, maybe 90-10. If it's too close to 100, though, the more likely it is to just be reappropriated as illegally donated.
I was thinking around maybe 10,000. It'd be
I would also like to point out that I know Moonzik has pointed the Everlights as a trusted organization in order to help see the gold reach its, general populace. But I'm more worried about the individuals running it, as they themselves are not profiled the same way an organization would, and they individuals themselves may still be susceptible to the influences and personal compulsions for that. I don't think we should donate a sum so large that it would entice certain individuals in order to see that the money lined to their own.
Florian?
I've got an idea, says Nahiri. I mean, if you're worried about like large sums of money, we'll just do a lot of little ones. I mean, the whole reason that we did this anyway, this whole thing, was basically to put the money to return some of the balance of power to, the poor people, right? So why don't we just give the money straight to them? What if
I think that would
every
be a good
person
idea.
what if like every person got like 100 gold? That would totally cause like an uprising, and the people just wouldn't forget about that. It'd be really hard.
I like
Actually-
the idea.
Actually, I like that idea a lot.
How
And
about
in term,
I think the issue with that is a logistical issue of the fact that we're not allowed to personally hand 100 gold to every single person we meet on the street.
Just as a side note, I love this conversation. I'm excited to see where you guys are going to take it. It is a conversation between 3 people, and I think there's really good opportunity to expand that to the other players and not talk over everybody.
okay. I have an idea. Thorian? What would the populace's reaction be if they knew the Sylvia family had this level of money that they could have literally given out a year's worth of wages to most of the city?
I mean, I would assume that they would, get mad, get pissed off. Frankly, we're talking sums of money that I can't even imagine. I'm a little pissed off. I didn't get paid that much.
I think I know where you're going with this.
And I got paid.
I don't even think we need evidence. Evidence is nice and all. But we could make sure that they step down from power pretty fucking quickly if we just told them where this money was from.
So we just make a bunch of little bags with 100 gold coins in them, and then put a tag on each of them that says "From the Sylvia family."
Oh, no, then it sounds like they're generous.
Fair enough.
No. We
Although
we start putting up a bunch of letters as far as we can go, detailing out the crimes and how this is their money. And the money will follow.
Okay, love that thought. Let's let other people talk too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just gonna say, I kind of, if we wanted to, get away with the stealing, we could just say that it was from the family, and then then if they wanted to get it back, they'd have to fucking. Do you see what I'm saying right now?
I do,
Like,
but
they'd have to take it away from the citizens in order to get it back.
But they can do
And then if
that
they tried
with
to do
other
that,
ways.
no, but what I'm saying is, if they tried to do that, then everybody would notice and start getting mad.
But they can do that in other ways, like increasing taxes and slow ways they'd have leeway for because they had just given out gifts like that, right?
You're right.
How fast can you run?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Fairly fast, I think.
This might be the most dangerous thing I've thought of. But if we post this as far as we can, say the money is from what they were hoarding and not all that they had. Who knows how much they have elsewhere? And then start giving out the money, telling everybody by word of mouth. The criminal organizations and anybody but would be pissed with us. We'd have to run pretty fast. But if we can
Well,
get away,
every 6 seconds I can run 40 feet, I guess.
You
Is
can
it
actually
feet?
dash.
And then I could also dash. So actually, 60,
80.
No,
80. Okay. Goddamn.
You're really quick.
Couldn't we use our horses to do this instead of running the entire time?
True.
I can't believe I didn't realize we could just use horses.
True. I keep forgetting that I have a horse. It's almost like I never have interacted with it ever. What do you all think about this? It's definitely the most dangerous way, but I think it might be the most surefire way to make sure that they don't get away with what they've done.
Will they be
I
fast
mean,
enough
what
to
would
take
the
down
rest of
those
the
things?
party think about this? Aside from us four.
So, what you want to put up posters?
Put up posters. Kind of like "We will steal your heart," like we were joking about earlier, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And
Honestly,
Do you have any opinions pertaining to this discussion?
I just want to get as far away from here as possible. I think the longer we stay, the more we're in danger.
that's also true. But to be honest, I was expecting you to be all in on this idea. Maximum chaos and all that?
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm always down for a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Soren, are you alright?
Yeah. Yeah.
You sound less chaotic
just-
than usual.
I've got a bad feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that this is a very irrational way, very chaotic, albeit, but very irrational way to be able to side the general populace on our favor.
I
Um,
never really got how this was going to work, to be honest. But this is the first time I feel like it might actually do something negative to the family.
Really got it out for them.
Well, Moonzip's got it out for them. And I'll be honest, they had a swimming pool. Who the fuck has a swimming pool?
We
We didn't have that in the Feywild, and we are enormously excessive.
We all saw Dardek swimming in that gold when we entered the vault.
Yeah, you did. Oh, good times.
You could do snow angels in the amount of gold they had there. I'm a little pissed off. People work really hard for gold. Do you know how much tuition is?
We could just drop it off at every household in the city.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes back to the argument of how fast you can run.
Well, if you do it quietly and stealthily.
Someone will notice
Would we be
eventually.
able to do that fast? No?
Like in the middle of the night.
Yeah, like reverse burglary.
Like reverse burglary. With a little note saying, down with the Sofia family, this is their blood money.
Something with like Mary money, miss?
You know, I actually think that this is a great idea. I might know a few people who would do such good work at as long as you gave them a little bit of extra.
I don't think we have any problem with covering that.
So we
People
could
pissed off enough that they do something about it.
you could set teams of people that go across the city tonight.
Yeah.
How fast can you get them here?
Probably an hour.
In that case,
How much you gonna give extra?
in that case, I say let's get to writing. We need to make posters.
I do think there is an issue of, should we be absolutely sure about what crimes the Sophia family should be charged with before we proceed with this course of action?
I don't
agree.
Think it matters.
Well, it matters a little bit. But you're right, we don't need to be exactly sure. I'd say go read for 30 minutes, get the worst crimes you can find. Alright?
Sure. Emily, quick question. Can I have Unseen Servant copy out things that I read out loud with a pen?
An issue that you remember being with that, and I totally in this case we talked about copying before, but it is actually you will require blind sight.
Okay,
Or
so
true
it
sight.
requires a skill.
Because remember the documents all are illusory.
Yeah.
Right,
No,
no,
that's
he
what
was
I'm
saying
saying is
he
I'm
wants to
reading it
read
out
it out loud.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. You can if that's how you want to go about it. I think that's all the better.
Yeah.
So if you're having them like write notes for people to put in, you can have all of your servants up.
Yeah, so
writing
he's
notes.
like a scribe. He's not actually like, going to read and copy it with
Right.
true sight. Like it's literally just I am saying words, he is writing words.
That is totally fine. Yeah, the spell was made for that. I feel like
That's one of the better uses.
Yes. Unseen Servant is a great spell. I'm gonna go find somewhere dark to be able to apply the true sight mushrooms.
Right.
I'll be back. You guys figure out the logistics about what you're about to do. In the meantime, I'll be back with whatever I can
Then
get and decipher.
One of us will open up the portal for Edward to step through. Then I take it.
the portal will still open. I'm not gonna lie.
You mean Muzik's just been kneeling there talking the entire time?
No. Okay, you open up the portal.
Okay. I'm gonna grab.
Or mage hand for Brian.
Oh yeah.
Probably easier.
Yep. I will plant. Mage hand.
Or you could just close it after. that's fine too.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll just mage hand it. We're all going to be in the area. That way he can leave whenever he needs to.
Um.
I'm going to go into the darkest cellar I can find, which is literally just the cellar, because we only have one. And
Well, there's the cellar,
I'm
and then
going-
there's the room on the ground floor that wind chime cleaned out.
yeah, I'm going to greet Janor and everybody else on the island. I'll tell them I'll be in the cellar for a bit. I have some important affairs to sort out there. Don't open the room. Don't let any, don't open the room. I'll be there if you need me. Call me out, call my name, and I'll see if I can get there. All right.
Good
Yeah,
luck.
of
I'm
course.
going to
All
head
right.
down into the cellar. So you said the mushrooms work, but only if there's no bright light. Otherwise, it blinds you because
Yes,
of like hyper light sensitivity.
absolutely.
Um,
And you have plenty of mushrooms for this task. You actually have some extra. So.
okay. I'm going to
For
start scanning each
you,
page of the book.
do it.
Obviously, I'm going to ritual cast the servant first. Take the mushrooms, right, and then hand the servant the pen. Tell it to write down passages I'm writing out loud. And I'm going to start reading out any particularly. Yeah, I'm going to scan the pages, right? If it's like a mundane thing, like, oh, today I paid a man to like eat his shoe, like I'm going to skip past that, right?
So you're scanning through the documents and writing up these flyers for people, right?
Yeah, like what are the worst crimes the Soviet family has done against the general populace?
Mostly, you see
Also flappy.
some of the harder stuff, but that has the greatest overall effect. Um, there is plenty of dealings with criminal organizations. Particularly mentioned on many occasions is the Myriad, from smuggling of goods to even the trade of people.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Human trafficking.
Yeah, talks of using ships that were ships that had said that they were full of wine and goods, were instead full of even people, like even criminals, exiting them, and specific people of note to get escape, basically. The hands of the law. Then there is a whole lot of fraud. I mean, basically just a bunch of fraud, manipulation of people in order to um, like persuade them in certain ways. Um, Blackmail being a big one.
Offers people can't refuse.
Offers people can't refuse. The but some of the overall arching heinous ones are basically actively knowing that the changes he does to tax law is going to like severely impact the people in general, trying to manipulate the law through legal means. And genuinely, you see on many occasions he has viewed poor people as nothing more than rodents. And
Ooh, get that as a quote.
Well, I have
Yeah.
like a sort of a list of names of associates, both legal and illegal, that
yes,
he's been like very, very heavily entwined with.
yes,
Because I would
you
like
have,
to make a list of those names with, like section citing certain pages of
you
whatever
def-
I'm getting the servant to write down.
yes, you find that in spades. I'm not going to tell you because I don't have them. There's a lot of people.
As I'm like finishing up the touches about a detailed document towards all of the things and ignoring multiple passages about him paying homeless people to eat their shoes, on multiple occasions, I'm going to head up backstairs and visit Bellwether.
Well, Bellwether's not there. But while you're doing that, it's going to take you a bit of time to go through all of that. We're going to go to the rest of the party. You all now have Edward making pamphlets for people. You have Thorian, who has politely excused himself to go find some people for your teams. And the rest of you have a few minutes with your thoughts to plan logistics or just talk about everything that just happened. All of that craziness.
Soren, we are getting out of here shortly, but I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Just a little rattled, of course. It's not every day you get possessed, you know?
Yeah? I mean, I suppose the problem is I don't know. But well, we care about you, so
With time, everything will be alright. That's the way it seems to go so far, anyway.
If there's anything wrong, you can just let us know. Like if there's any after effects or you feel like different, we can figure it out together.
Oh, I definitely feel different.
Yeah.
Well, if there's, like Brian said, if you need someone to talk to about thoughts and all that, you've got 5 sets of ears open to you.
If you don't mind me cutting in just a hair, you see Soren currently holding something in his hand. He's been kind of fiddling with it this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Just to help out a little bit.
what's that?
Thank you. I was gonna whittle that in, but so I'm guessing you all are looking at it. You notice that it is a pendant, one that you all recognize. Oh, just something I thought I'd grab on the way out.
The one
He's gonna put his arm forward, opening it, showing everyone.
The one that I stapled to the elephant?
Yeah, you could
No.
say that.
No.
Wait. No, not to the elephant.
No.
This is the badge. This is the badge.
The badge.
That
Okay.
This is the badge that I put on the elephant.
No.
No?
Oh, excuse me. The necklace filled with liquid, not the badge. There was a necklace. Sorry, this is all confusing. There was a necklace, and then there was a badge.
And then there was an amulet that I'm currently wearing from the...
Yes, so it is the one that was put onto the elephant. That is right. It's the badge from the elephant.
Because I've got the other thing.
Yes, you have the necklace that was for the construct.
Yeah. What is it, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I'm not so sure, to be honest. I felt inclined to take it. He was pretty worried about it. I could tell as much.
Are we sure it's safe then, if he was worried about it?
I'm not quite sure.
Is it possible that his soul is kept within it?
I'm gonna start ritual casting detect magic.
Okay.
Just give me a second. I want to see what kind of magic it has, if any.
He's going
Well,
to.
she is taking 10 minutes to cast that. The rest of you talking.
He's going to pull his arm back in with the thing, kind of like, not letting anyone try and grab it or anything, just pulling it back in and grabbing it with both of his hands, kind of running his thumbs over it a little bit, just looking at it. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I feel intrigued as to hold on to it.
Soren, you're making me worry about you even more.
I don't know what you mean.
Well,
Odd behavior.
let's just say that I trust your judgment most of the time, but whatever judgment was happening while you could have still been under the influence of that, of whatever he was, it's not something I am overly interested in. Make sense?
I guess. It's something he was extremely worried about, and I could tell that much, but I'm kind of riddled to the bone with that situation. I mean, again, as I previously said, it's not every day you get possessed, and it didn't feel normal.
Nor should it. Well, it's another thing to investigate. It's not necessarily too bad that you grabbed it.
Suppose not.
What do you mean that it didn't feel normal? I feel like possession is not going to feel normal. In general. Like, was it like the kind of possession it was? Like, I'm like super into possession, so just like, please give me all of the details.
I thought the purpose was to make him feel less uncomfortable, not more uncomfortable.
Talking about things does make me feel more comfortable, okay? Like, it does. Expressing it, putting things into words might help the situation. Please, go on. She blinks at you.
She's right, you know.
Well,
Bottle it up. Say nothing. Sorry.
Bottle it up. Hell yeah. No, sorry. Getting in my IRL self. Well, I believe he said it himself. He said something about coming across someone you don't normally come across. I'm not quite sure exactly what that meant. And when I said it felt weird, it felt as if it felt as if my consciousness was shoved to the back of my head. Like I had gotten pushed out of my body and I was just watching from the deepest, darkest pits of my inner being. Sorry, my cat just literally fell on top of me.
I was like, was that like the best acting break I've ever heard, or did you laugh?
No, my cat literally just fell on top of me from like the bookshelf above me. Anyway.
So, like, you're telling me you were still, like, all there, but, like, not able to do anything?
Pretty much. I could see and hear everything, but it was as if somebody else was living my life. and nothing was really going my way.
Well, that sounds quite obvious. Like, there was, like, 2 souls inside your body. That's gotta be, like, dying for control and all that shit. Gnarly.
Facts.
That's kind of what I meant when I said it felt unnatural. I feel like I wasn't supposed to be in there. Like, I shouldn't have been in my own body. Like, I should have been fully pushed out, but instead I became like its shell.
Soren, you're back in it now, and this is your body. You're the one that belongs there. There's no reason for him to have any control over you. You're the one in control. And even
Damn
back
right.
then, you were pushing. You were
Sorry.
constantly pushing to get back into control, even if you felt like you had the back of your mind. And damn right is exactly correct. So you got it.
I don't know. I mean, part of me is, I guess, freaking out. I mean, of course, it's not normal. I shouldn't feel good about it, but for some reason, I do. It felt oddly nice.
To be possessed, it feels good.
I can understand that it might feel good to not have to. I mean, there's a lot of pressures in life.
That's not quite what I meant. I mean, it felt normal, like it fit. I don't really know how else to explain it.
That is truly creepy. I mean, how do you feel now?
That's another tricky question. I mean, the fact that I felt filled fits kind of better than normal. Now I kind of feel like a glass half empty. Maybe like I didn't have something that he gave me.
What do you mean? Didn't have something that he gave you? Are you talking about your soul? That's the only thing he gave you.
It was his soul, not.
That's what I meant. God, soul's confusing.
Perhaps
They're difficult games, I know.
perhaps that's what it was.
Not to ask like a stupid question, because like I think it could be a really stupid question. So just hear me out. Soren, do do you have a soul?
Well, to be honest, I'm not quite sure myself, but with, of course, the recent events, I'm gonna answer, I don't think so.
What?
I have a hard time believing that. We could get into the definitions of what it means to have a soul all day long, but
I think, from what I understand, I think you have a soul, but Maybe you don't have a complete soul.
What what was going on when my party first met you? They mentioned something about some cleric?
It was a paladin.
Paladin.
And he was saying that we don't allow people like you here or your kind or something. He's being very bigoted.
What if Soren, have you been resurrected?
I don't know.
Who are your parents?
I don't know.
I know he has some amnesia. There's answers we're not going to be able to get from him, but
That would explain a lot. Don't you think?
Honestly, I'm lost. This is far too confusing for my tiny brain.
I don't completely follow it either, but some things make sense.
Soren, I'm going to assume my detect magic is on at this point.
Yeah.
May I see that badge? Just I want to check something.
He is going to hold it out. However, he is going to grip it.
What do
So
I see?
you look
Detect magic
into
only tells the school,
and
right?
Mm-hmm.
you
So it
notice
tells me
that
if it's magical.
Shush,
Oh
hush.
my god.
Jeez.
you notice that there is a faint magical source coming from it. And when you detect magic, right? You
Mhm.
see just magic is constantly around with you. It's more like it comes in hues and like
Right.
intensity.
Mhm.
And it has the same intensity to it that, you know, a person would.
Mm.
And any hue?
Talk about type of magic, just like the overarching wild magic that exists within everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does.
So is it like a hue of a
Soren.
sorcerer or a hue of a barbarian? Because those are two different hues.
That's a funny thing, but wild magic sorcerer and wild magic barbarians both exist. So
Yeah, but like the
I'm
barbarian.
gonna say it looks like a person.
Like
I'm gonna
energy. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's basically got
So
a
I'm gonna
soul in.
oh my gosh.
Rocky, you are not here. Love
Okay.
you very much.
I'm now gonna look at Soren very closely.
I'm not going to make you roll anything because I feel like that defeats the whole purpose. But you spend a moment like investigating Soren. And despite all of the magical items that he has on his person, you notice there's a distinct lack of that energy there. That same one that possesses the badge in front of you and the one that each of you have by yourselves.
I assume I'm going to find a different type of magic there. He's clearly magically inclined. Or no?
Not in the same way. No.
Okay. Well, Soren, I don't know how to put this. I think that badge may be incredibly dangerous. I believe the reason he was so concerned about it was that badge is what holds the wizard who possessed you and tried to kill all of us, including you. And I believe you may be more susceptible to it than the rest of us.
So we should break it.
No. I won't allow that. He's going to pull it close to his chest.
At the very least, even if I say we don't break this, if I'm right and he's there, we need to have a conversation to ensure that this sort of thing doesn't happen again. And if he insists on being a threat, perhaps leave him somewhere where he is not a threat to us. Would that be a compromise you'd be willing to accept, Soren?
I don't know.
Soren.
I have to think about it.
Soren, he's not you. As much as he might make you feel more whole, he's not you.
And I know my friend, Soren. You're one of the most kind people I know. One of the most interesting, fun people to have around. You healed me up after I acted like a doofus in front of will-o-wisps. You helped out a unicorn and have helped keep nature on course. And even if you might be something a little supernatural yourself, clearly nature favors you. I want you as a person around. I don't want the possessed version of you who wanted to kill us all.
So, I'm just supposed to leave something that made me feel whole then.
I understand
Just because something
he might.
Just because something feels good doesn't make it the right thing.
He might make you feel whole, but if you allow him to stay with you, he will use you, and he will not feel bad about it.
I mean, we don't necessarily know that. He was inclined due to this Sovia family, but if they fall to ruin,
he might be inclined not to the Solvia
Well,
family, but
then
more
let's-
to the Myriad.
Let's have a conversation with him. We do hold his life literally in our hands. Perhaps we can come to some sort of agreement. Otherwise, I don't want to fight you. But he'll force that on us sooner or later anyway.
And how do you expect to have a conversation with someone stuck in a badge?
I have an idea.
Can the idea wait until after we're out of Feolinn?
I actually think it might be less risky now while we're all still a little bloodied up, Soren especially. You don't have that many spell slots, right?
I do.
Oh, did we already long rest?
No, I don't believe so.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Technically we do. Since we all leveled up.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, I would still have a lot.
Well, if we're all leveled up, I at least have spells back.
May I add a comment that maybe right before we are attempting to, travel everything out of the city and bring power back to the people and all that jazz, maybe we don't get into a fight with one of our friends, like, not good. Not a vibe.
For real, on God.
True.
I've been muted this whole time. I've been saying stuff constantly. That's very disappointing.
Sorry, man.
I agree with the captain. We should get out of here before we do it.
All right.
If we are even going to, I think that we should definitely get out of here. These are not necessarily as pressing. You know what I
Soren,
mean?
do you trust me?
In what way?
I will give this back to you when we're out of the city.
He never let go of it.
I know.
Will you fight me if I say no?
No. All I ask is that you trust me. And that you help make sure that that event, that we have as little complications as possible.
Is it a promise then that I will get this back?
You will.
Regardless.
You will. We will cross whatever bridge after I give this back to you.
He's going to grip it a little bit harder while looking at it before reluctantly putting his hand out with it.
Thank you, Soren.
If this keeps us from fighting, I suppose it's better than holding on to it. However, I do expect it back.
You will get it back. I'm going to put it away safely in the bag of holding.
Wow! Look who's miraculously come back with a whole team of people. You see Thorian, out of breath, runs back with many different, let's say a dozen or so different people of various stature and like, and he says, "Ready to begin?"
Just about. Brian, let's open the portal.
Mage hand, open portal.
Door swings open to the cellar, and you see the door swing open, Edward, just about the time that you finished up. How convenient. As you, yeah?
So aside from random odd counts of stories about this guy literally making homeless people eat their shoes for their own amusement, I've got a lot of dirt on this guy. Namely, I'm gonna like mentally command my invisible unseen servant to walk out of the portal, and then a giant, long, comedically long, like roll of paper is going to go down all the way down to his feet, and then continue rolling just for like a little. Look at this! It's got a full list of names, dates, and times for specific accounts of everything, and also it's got a full list of names. We can also get his associates by proxy.
Now that is some juicy information.
Do we even have to drop off the notebooks at this point?
And also, there's without a
Well, I mean,
shadow of a
if we
doubt that
want,
he's definitely in
I
cahoots
feel
with
like
the Red.
the notebooks and like real evidence, we still go to Port Damali with. If we
Port Zune.
Port Zune or
Nicodranas.
Nicodranas with.
What's
If
it?
we bring this out, there's a pretty high chance of an uprising, right? We all agree on that?
I agree.
I'm just gonna look around the room.
Music will nod.
I mean, what do you want the things that we're going to deliver to say? This money was brought to you by courtesy of the Sophia family, sponsored by corruption and fraud, like a long list of fraud.
That's actually quite funny. You should definitely do that.
I like that quite a lot too. I mean, the wording sponsored by corruption and fraud and unfair taxation policies that harm you more than anyone else. This rebate was brought unwillingly?
There was
something like that?
There was taxation without representation.
Indeed.
We're
Not
the
that,
representation of
taxes.
taxation.
I'm not a tax avoider, I swear. I just don't live in a city. Or in a government. I should probably stop talking.
Well, let's say the Sovia family decides they're going to hold on to power anyway. They pay off anybody with whatever funds they have not in their vault and start fighting back. I feel like the evidence goes to Clovis Concord so that they help out and don't instead come to the aid of.
It could.
I mean, we can
It could
bring a
lead-
long list of associates that he's already paid off who are working for the law.
Oh, yes. Indict all of them, but this way that the Clovis Concord and these other cities don't come around to help out. And
At least
perhaps
that's
come
what
and help out the
Houston's doing.
population.
It
You
might
hear,
lead. Go ahead.
so there is a murmur amongst the crowd of people that Thurian has brought to a lot of you. As one of them says, "Well, I mean, if you're really looking to like describe it briefly based off what we've overheard, why don't you just tell us what the fuck we're doing here? And then that should give them enough of a reason to rise up against the man."
Edward?
We have
Like, briefly, in like a sentence or two.
Please.
Brian?
Alright.
Time. We've been here for like 10 minutes.
It's been 3.
The short gist of it is that through fraud, through many other criminal means, such as human trafficking and harboring criminals, the Solvia family has amassed a giant wealth and has refused to share any of it with the with the general population.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Hell yeah, rise up against the van!
Fuck them all!
Year of agreement amongst the people who have been brought.
So,
And we're doing this entire thing.
what we're doing is we are giving each of you silly amounts of gold to spread around to each household with little notes saying exactly, basically describing the crimes and why this money has reached their doorsteps. And of course, you will all be paid for your help in getting this money back into the hands of the people.
You hear cheers of agreement. And
Yeah, baby! That's what we've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, fuck yeah! Yeah! Fuck the man! Fuck this man! And
Yo, did this become a Brennan Lee Mulligan campaign? Capitalism is the big bad evil guy?
Are we starting a riot?
You also notice, Brian, because of course you did, and everybody else does too, that Thorian's like looking at this crowd of people, and he looks genuinely pleased. And he kind of says to them all, he says, "Okay, all right, folks, we have got business to attend to. Looks like we need to make some of these pamphlets. I need you guys over here, and you on over here, and you to sew bags, blah, blah, blah." And then he starts, like, directing everybody of where to go to start getting all of this in process. Even pointing out a couple specific people and starts, like, gesturing to a map. And he calls the lot of you over and explains to you what would be the optimal routes and how to get that, and the population density, etc. And all of that happens as we go in through a montage. Is there anything in specific that people would like to mention now before?
Right before we get started, because I see all of this, I'm gonna go over to as people are about to head out, right, and getting ready to and heading out the door. I'm gonna go over to Thorian, put my hand on his shoulder this time, and be like, "You seem you're in your element, and the situation is different than we imagined. I mean, I'd love to have you along, and our offer's still on the table. Do you still want to come with us?"
He looks at you and kind of rubs the back of his neck, and he says, "Well, I'll be honest. It feels really good, like, to do the right thing and to help people, even if fuck all else happens. This feels really good, and I don't want to see the city fall back into the hands of."
I mean, there is the issue of leaving a power vacuum to organized crime within the city that gives a lucrative opportunity for...
Exactly, a power vacuum. We don't want shit like that to happen. So...
Solid, grab some pamphlets.
I mean, if my study of current modern politics within Wildemount has, at least yielded any sort of information, it's that there's a good likelihood that something or someone is going to go up and try to contest for that spot. I would keep my eyes on the Myriad, and I would keep my eyes on, well, any other unscrupulous figures that might step up for it.
Will do. And I think hearing that, does kind of settle my mind. I've got to stay here with my people. I have spent most of my life doing fuck all, but when it came down to it, to the wire, I have a team of 12 trustworthy, good people. And probably more if I just looked around a little bit harder. So, I think I might stay.
You're a good man, Thorian. Hell, if you ever need
Brian's gonna start crying.
if you ever need an ear to the underground, he gestures at Dardek. This little man here will help you, give you some information. Of course, for the right price. He kind of gives Dardek a smile.
I mean, that's one way to take on the put of believing every worker deserves to be paid fairly. I'm gonna eye towards Brian.
Look, that.
And actively, like, you kind of start tears running down your face,
Yeah.
and
um,
his smile fades as he looks at you.
may I make a request? Do you remember that item shop, Moonzik, that we went to? The magic item shop?
Yes.
Do I remember seeing standing stones there?
DM?
You do?
Yes.
Could I take some of this illegally appropriated gold and grab some sending stones so that we can stay in contact with the war effort?
Do you think that the shop will be open at this time? Are you going to be able to get in and actually purchase it?
It's open. It's called Illuminations.
Fair enough.
It never closes.
Fair enough. Alright, fair enough.
I got a economic question. How are we supposed to make sure that homeless people receive this money if they don't have a registered address in order to have the money deposited to?
The hand of the
Well,
Everlight.
you see, we already discussed.
Oh, never mind.
we already discussed that when we did this whole planning process montage.
That was the whole point.
We've got everything covered, Edward. Any more questions that you might have? Everything's covered.
The plan is perfect. Magically so. Thanks.
Yes, we can stop at Illuminations, but it needs to be quick. Basically, go in, say sending stones, throw the money at him, and get out.
Understood. And she's going to sprint out the door with the money. I don't remember how much that cost, but exactly that much.
This is a totally worthy purchase. So, yeah, I'll get you some sending stones.
Alright, everyone else, let's get ready to move out. We're going to drop these off at the Clovis Concord office, and we're getting the hell out of Feolinn.
Clovis Concord office, not in Feolinn. We want it in a different...
It's not marked, but I'm sure there is one.
No, as in we talked about getting the evidence to any office that wasn't in Feolinn.
Port Zune, yeah. Sorry. We've run over these so many times, it tends to blend together.
Yep.
Sending stones.
I'm going to sprint back with said sending stones.
Oh, you know what? I'll bring it up later. I know how to send to people now.
Cool. Can I have a moment with Thorian, guys?
We'll get prepared to go.
Oh,
Dardek, you'll be okay here?
Mooney, you know I wouldn't miss this for the world.
We've been looking forward to this for a long time. I know you'll stay safe, but I'm going to say it anyway. Stay safe.
You too, brother.
We'll be in touch.
He gives you and reaches you for a big old hug.
He's gonna definitely take that hug. He's gonna squeeze him right back.
Nemo looks jealous.
You want to get on this, Anemo? Animal?
Yes.
Get over here.
I can't even say my own name.
Okay. Very, very awesome bro hug moment. That really just turns into a hug of friendship
Hell yeah.
and the feeling of being home. Anyway, the point being, things start to wrap up. Was there anything? Did you have any other questions for Dardek?
Just making sure he has a place to hide and all that. We covered that privately.
Yep.
Making sure he has enough gold from our operation. I'm sure that's covered already too. Is there anything else that you need from us at all?
Just be safe out there, brother.
You as well.
Look, if we don't get moving, I think I'm gonna fall asleep.
If we don't get moving,
sorry.
If we don't get,
You guys start to grab up your pamphlets and bags and all of the like, and start on your own treks. And then a brief moment between Thorian and Brian.
Yeah. Hey. Look, I'm really sorry about so much, and I know Look, here is a sending stone. You can talk to me through it once per day. And I want to hear from you. Not every day, but if you need help, call us and we'll do something. And I know there was nothing really official between us, and I'm not intending to change that, but no, that's because of lifestyle and not because of anything wrong with you. You have been more than... Honestly, you've been impressive this entire time.
And he says to you, he says, okay, he doesn't say anything at all. He bends down to give you a kiss. And we'll end that there. And we're going to go into a break.
all right. So with that, thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back shortly with part 2 for session 33.